process?
I can tell you right now that working with the three of you is a joy.
Hmm.
And I love when we meet at residency, when we're finally all together and we talk about our work, not just our work, but about the work in general. I
Hmm.
love the philosophical conversations that we have. I love to talk about our students and all four of us coming together, trying to move them forward and who has this problem and how can we bolster them up and make it more successful. This weakness should be a strength. I love to talk about that. And then I love all the other faculty because we have a wonderful group of fiction writers, poets, nonfiction, memoirists,
Writing for
just
young people.
wonderful people who think along the same lines that we do. And I'm thrilled to be a part of the whole.
Hmm.
Well,
Well, the
the thing about writing for stage and screen is that it's all performative. I mean, somebody has to sit and read the script before it gets to be performative,
Mhm.
but we're writing in our heads. We're writing for performance, and so it is an incredible collaboration.
Yeah.
So we're not just trusting the process of being able to write a good script. We're trusting everybody who's going to be involved is going to make it as good as it can possibly be. We're trusting that an actor will be able to really pull off those lines. We're trusting a director will be able to see exactly the best way to stage this. But everything is collaborative. And in the teaching business, you're often very isolated for adjunct teaching. But here, the teaching is collaborative. Everything about it is collaborative, and not just within your own genre as an instructor or as a student. You're meeting all kinds of different writers. So it's a great
I
experience.
feel like for as long as we've been here, everybody, with except for one or two students, are here because they want to be a better writer, whether or not they just came out of undergrad or they're in their 60s. And I find that teaching that kind of student, especially on a mentor mentee situation, is so satisfying. Is so satisfying. Um, and of course, bringing in the actors, we're different than the other genres in that respect. And going back on what Mary was saying, just trusting the process and other people bringing your stories to life. And then the other thing that I feel like hasn't been mentioned yet is the interdisciplinary aspect of a student who's focusing in stage and screen, but then they get to take an IS course in poetry or fiction. I always love talking to that student who's doing an IS in a different genre and how much they learn from that genre and they bring it to stage and screen. I always love having those conversations. So we come here for 9 days, twice a year. You make all these friends, you talk at length about writing, you get your workshop, and then you go home, and then we go home, and then we set up our mentor mentee very personal relationship over the course of the semester.
Certainly
Yeah.
helps with the one-on-one mentorship, doesn't it?
I love that. I absolutely
And
love
I love what you said about the students coming. What I love about them once they're in the program is that it's all about the work and it's not about ego. And that's what they leave with. They
Hmm.
leave with the tools to be able to revise and to know, and they don't have the ego, oh, I need to keep this because it's so beautiful. No, chuck it if
it.
it's not working. I mean, and I hope that that's what we're getting across.
Me too. I think we are.
So, for
Oh,
me, it really is the most valuable thing. Like you said, each student is like starting a new play because they come with their own set of treasures and values and problems and challenges, and it's an adventure really to get into that semester with one student. And we have, at the most, I've had 4 students, so I get to really focus on that student's work and it becomes very personal.
Yep.
It becomes very personal. It becomes very intimate. And when you feel like that relationship is harmonious, or, you know, it's not always, you know, there's always clashes with students. Sometimes students don't want to do what you're suggesting that they do. You know, if a student comes and says, I'm going to work on a play that I already worked on, it's like, no, if you're going to work with me, this time between you and me is valuable, and you need to take advantage of that, or I want to take advantage of our time together. So there's a kind of dedication with a student that you establish, and yeah,